This is Dave Torres with Torres Real Estate Solutions in Whittier, California. Today we're talking about Prop 60 and 90, and we're going to get started with that right now. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the 5 W's of Proposition 60 and 90. Okay, so who, what, where, when, and why. Those are the 5 things that we'll talk about. Okay, so those of you that are familiar with these Prop 60 and Prop 90, okay, it's going to deal with people that live in California and that are 55 or older. Okay, so again, if you're under 55, okay, like myself, I just turned 53 a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so I can't take advantage of this yet. Okay, but I want you, if you're under 55, okay, stick with me so that you can see why this is so important. And if you're 55 or older, or your spouse is 55 or older, okay, stick with me, and I want to show you the ins and outs of how this works. Now, I'm not going to get too technical. I'm going to give you a general overview of how this works. Okay, and if you have any questions, okay, feel free to contact me. So let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, so let's talk about who first. Okay, so obviously, the main criteria is that you need to be 55 or older in order to take advantage of this. Okay, so it says your spouse residing with you must be at least 55 years of age when the original property is sold. And this is something that you can only take advantage of one time. This is a one-time only benefit. So once you have filed for and received this tax relief, and neither you nor your spouse who resides with you can ever file again, even if a spouse dies or if you get divorced. Okay, but there is one exception. Okay, so it says, however, if you become disabled after receiving this tax relief, you may transfer the base year value of your personal residence a second time due to the disability, which involves a different claim form, and that would involve Proposition 110, which we're not going to get into right now. So let's go ahead and move forward. Okay, so the next thing is what? And we're going to talk about your original property here first. Okay, so let's say you have a property that you've lived in, you've raised your family in, and the kids have gone through school, and now they're off in college, or they've moved out of the house, and now you have this property that realistically might be too big for you now, okay, or for what other reasons, okay, it's you've been thinking about moving. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the original property. It says your original property must be eligible for the homeowner's exemption or disabled veterans exemption, either at the time it was sold or within 2 years of the purchase or construction of the replacement property. Okay, so I'll be more specific in explaining what that means. Okay, it says the original property must be subject to reappraisal at its current fair market value at the time of sale. And I put a little note there at the bottom that says it can't be a transfer from a parent to a child or from a grandparent to a grandchild. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the homeowner's exemption. Okay, so the homeowner's exemption is basically saying that the house that you're living in, the original property, it has to be your primary residence. Okay, so it cannot apply to a rental. Okay, so again, the house that you're living in, for it to be qualify for the homeowner exemption, it has to be your primary residence. Right? Okay, that's the other important part. It says the original property must be subject to reappraisal. So there has to be some kind of transaction involved, and there needs to be an exchange of value, which is obviously for the buyer is going to be, they're going to be paying money, or they're going to be taking a loan out to purchase your house. So again, it cannot be, you cannot take advantage of Prop 60 or 90 if it involves you or your children, or if it involves you as the grandparents and your grandchildren. Okay, so the next thing we'll talk about is what? Okay, and this is part 2 is the replacement property. Okay, so again, you've decided to downsize or move from one county to another, or from within the same county, you're moving just to another property in that county. Okay, so it says the replacement property must be your principal residence and must be eligible for the homeowner's exemption or disabled veterans exemption. Okay, so again, we talked the easiest way for me to explain whether the house is eligible for the homeowner's exemption is it has to be your primary residence. Okay, so cannot be a rental. Okay, so again, that's very important. Now, the disabled veterans exemption, that's something different, a little bit more complicated, but if you think that you might qualify for that, I put a link under that slide so that you can gather up some more information on that. All right, okay, it says the replacement property must be of equal or lesser value than the original property. Okay, so in general, equal or lesser value means it's going to be either one of three things. Okay, so the first one. Okay, so let's say well, let me just read it to you. It says 100% or less of the market value of the original property if a replacement property were purchased or newly constructed before the sale of the original property. Okay, so if you've already built your house or if you've already purchased a house, okay, that purchase or that build needs to be 100% or less of the market value of the original property. Okay, very important. Okay, so here's the second criteria. Okay, let's say, well, let me read it again to you. It says 105% or less of the market value of the original property if a replacement property were purchased or newly constructed within the first year after the sale of the original property. So they're giving you a little bit of room here. So if you purchase a property or you built it and then you don't sell your original property when you sell that original property within the first year, then that property needs to be valued at 105% or less of the market value of the original property. Okay, so the last criteria, it says 110% or less of the market value of the original property if a replacement property were purchased or newly constructed within the second year after the sale of the original property. Okay, so you build or you buy that new place, and you do it within the second year. Okay, so then again, that percentage bumps up this time to 110%. So again, it's giving you some room there, okay, just for the increase in value. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. All right. Okay, so obviously we're talking about in order for Prop 60 or Prop 90 to apply, right now we're talking specifically about California. So there's 58 counties in California, and the unfortunate part in this is that only 10 counties as of today are participating. Now, before you would initiate this, you want to make sure that the county is still participating. This is the most current information I could find, and right now there's 10 counties that are participating in this. So those counties are Alameda, Los Angeles, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Ventura, and I'm going to mess up this name, Tuolumne. Okay, so I apologize if you live there. Yeah, we'll practice saying that word for you. So again, 10 counties that are participating right now. All right, let's move forward. Okay, and we kind of talked about this already, is the replacement property must be purchased or built within 2 years before or after the sale of the original property. Okay, so again, you sell the property, you have 2 years after that to take advantage of this. Or if you buy and purchase or purchase a property or build something new, okay, then you have 2 years from there. So again, very important that you remember that it's 2 years before or 2 years after the sale of the original property. Okay, the last thing is why. Okay, and the biggest reason that I saw, and the biggest value I see in this is for the savings. And of course, that's going to involve you saving yourself a good amount of money. Okay, so it says Prop 60 and Prop 90 provides a property tax relief for seniors by preventing a tax increase if they sell their existing home and buy another home of equal or lesser value. Okay, so I'm going to walk through this example with you. Okay, so the example says a homeowner purchased his Huntington Beach residence in 1962 for about $30,000. Okay, thanks to Proposition 13, he currently pays about $700 in annual property taxes. Okay, the current value of the home is $2 million. He wants to downsize and move closer to his granddaughter in another part of Huntington Beach. Okay, so he's moving within the same county, so he would take advantage of Prop 60. Now, if he was going to a different county, then he would take advantage of Prop 90. Remember, Prop 60 within the same county, Prop 90 when you're going from one county to another. So again, the value of the home is $2 million, and he wants to move within the same county. So he sells his current residence for $2 million and buys a new home for $1.5 million. Okay, with Proposition 60 and 90, his new property taxes would be $15,000 per year. And so that's a huge jump from paying $700 in property taxes to jumping to $15,000 per year. So when he takes advantage of Prop 60, watch what happens. Okay, so with Proposition 60 and 90, his new property taxes remain at $700. So that's going to save this homeowner $14,300 per year for as long as he owns his home. Okay? So I mentioned again that this is something that you can't take advantage of this if you're under 55. So either you or your spouse need to, one of the two of you needs to be over 55 years old. Okay? So again, I talked to you, those of you that are under 55. So why is this important to you? And the reason that I see this as someone that's 53 and that in 2 years I could take advantage of this Prop 60 or Prop 90 is that this is kind of like, I was thinking, how could I explain this? This is kind of like the cycle of life. Okay, so if seniors that are living in a neighborhood, in a house that is too big for them, that it's time for them to downsize, if they weren't able to take advantage of either one of these propositions, they would be stuck. Okay, so in my opinion, what this does, it allows them some flexibility. They can move to a smaller place within the same county and take advantage of Prop 60, or if they want to move to another participating county, they can take advantage of Prop 90. So those of you that are 55 and older, when those senior homeowners start moving out of certain neighborhoods, what that's going to do is that's going to open up properties for you if you're looking to purchase a property in that neighborhood, or maybe that style of property that they live in. And maybe you have kids and you need more space. So again, it's kind of like the cycle of life. They're moving, their time at that property, they've created some great memories. They've created some great memories there, but now they're ready to move on. And without being able to take advantage of these two propositions, they're kind of stuck, because if they move, they're going to get hit with that big tax increase. So again, this is important for us that are getting close to that age 55. it kind of, again, it's going to circle, and it's going to naturally happen when the time is right, so that new people are going to be moving into those houses. Hopefully, yeah, I was able to answer the 5 W's for you. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail, but I wanted to give you just an overview of what Prop 60 and what Prop 90 are, because sometimes people are curious, they've heard of them, but they're not really sure. So this is a real simple explanation, giving you the who, what, where, when, and why of Prop 60 and 90. So again, my name's David Torres. I'm with Torres Real Estate Solutions. I located in Whittier, California, and that's the where I live. So that's the city where I serve, and also the surrounding cities. So Pico Rivera, La Habra, La Mirada, Santa Fe Springs. So that's kind of the area that I'm focusing on right now. So if you have any questions and you want to give me a call, or if there's anything you want to correct me on if I misspoke, and there's a lot of details that I didn't cover, I was just giving you an overview. But if you have any questions or any comments and you want to reach me by phone, my number is 562-967-1907. If you're more comfortable emailing me, it's tres2820@gmail.com. And again, I researched Prop 60 and Prop 90 so that I can deliver this information for you. But if you want to dig a little bit deeper, the website that I used, it's down at the bottom of the page. If you want to do a little bit more research on your own, you can go to that website, and it gives you a real good explanation of the ins and outs of Prop 60 and Prop 90. So again, I hope this was helpful. Give me a call, send me an email, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.